Assalamu alaikum. A series of scientific facts contained in the Qur'an in the last few centuries have been proven correct. Scientists found several research results that turned out to have been written in the holy book of Muslims. For Muslims, the Qur'an is considered a perfection for the previous books. One of the miracles of the Qur'an is the preservation of its authenticity. The Qur'an has not changed at all since it was first revealed on the night of Ramadan 14 centuries ago, until now, and maybe even until the Day of Judgment. 1. Rivers under the sea. Looking at a recent study by Mexican underwater scientist Jacques Cousteau, it seems that rivers need to be redefined. His research found that there are rivers in the ocean. So there will be a part of the ocean that brings together fresh and salty water. The underwater river occurs because there is a difference in the pressure of the water layer. This is what the Quran has conveyed through Surah Ar-Rahman verses 19 to 20 and Surah Al-Furqan verse 53, which means, He lets the two seas flow, and they meet, and there is a boundary between them, which neither of them surpasses. And it is He who lets two seas flow, side by side, this one fresh and the other bitter, and He makes between them a wall and a barrier. 2. Pharaoh's intact body. Pharaoh was a title used for rulers, religious leaders, and political leaders in ancient Egypt. In 1975, the president of France offered the Egyptian monarchy help to research, study, and analyze the mummy of the famous pharaoh, Ramses II. Ramses II is said to have drowned in the Red Sea while pursuing the prophet Moses and his followers. Led by physician Professor Dr. Maurice Bucaille, this research succeeded in discovering the fact that there were remnants of salt still attached to the mummified body as great evidence that the pharaoh died by drowning in the sea. The Quran, which came several decades before this research, has explained in Surah Yunus verse 92, which means, So today, we let you, O Pharaoh, be released from your body, lifeless swallowed by the sea, to be a sign for those after you, so that they take lessons. And, remember, indeed most people are ignorant of the signs of our power. 3. Everything is created in pairs. Muslims will have heard the meaning of Quran Surah Ad-Zuriyat verse 49, and all things we have created in pairs that you may remember the greatness of Allah. According to this verse, Allah has created everything in pairs, including the various particles on earth. A British scientist, Paul Dirac, successfully conducted research that proved that matter was created in pairs. There are protons and neutrons and electrons. His discovery was called peryte. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1933 for his discovery. 4. Everything that lives comes from water. Water is one of the life-forming components. If there are water reserves in a place, there is certainly life in it. Then it turns out to be true that everything that has life, including one-celled plants, must contain water and also need water. The existence of water is an indication of life. Without water, it is impossible for there to be life. Surah Al-Anbiya explains it in verse 30, and from water we made everything that lives. 5. Strait of Gibraltar, meeting of two different seas. This is explained in the Quran. He lets the two seas flow, and they meet. Between them there is a boundary that neither of them exceeds. Quran Surah Ar-Rahman 19-20. And it is He who lets two seas flow, side by side, this one fresh and the other salty and bitter, and He makes between them a wall and a barrier. Quran Surah Al-Furqan 53. The explanation in modern physics only came about in the 20th century by oceanographers. The words of the Quran were revealed in the 7th century AD, 14 centuries ago. 6. The function of mountains. And we have made in the earth firm mountains so that the earth may not be shaken with them. Quran Surah Al-Anbiya 31. As in the Quranic verse above, Allah the Almighty has explained to us that He actually created the solid mountains to withstand the earth from shaking, which in this case can be interpreted as one of the natural events such as earthquakes. In fact, this can only be proven in modern geology with sophisticated tools. According to research, mountains are formed as a result of movement and collision between giant plates that form the Earth's crust. When two plates collide with each other, the stronger plate will slip under the weaker plate until a plateau is formed in the form of a mountain from its folds, while the lower layer will form a deep and very large part. This structure is described as a peg in the Qur'an. Have we not made the earth a plane, and the mountains pegs? Quran Surah An-Naba, 6-7. That's what channel the old man advice can share. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum.